Vite en Sac, the new podcast by Nightline France, which gives a voice to students. This month, we'll be talking about the second lockdown and our mental health.
So, lockdown is not exactly something I'm good at. I am more of an outdoors kind of person. I love to move. I love to go around. So being locked in my room is it gives me anxiety. I'd like to give myself a schedule. When am I going to go for a run? When am I going to sing, sketch, grocery shop? So that I at least have things to look forward to during the weekend. No matter how I'm feeling, I can always, fall back on those, do things that will lift up my spirits. I'm staying in contact with people via Zoom, and, it's really helped me get better at communication, long distance communication.
Well, I think this lockdown was kind of like the first one, although with less chaos, like in the first day with people running to the supermarket and stocking up on toilet paper. So I think I kind of lived this one better because maybe I could prepare a bit. So I did stock up on books from the library before it started and things to do. And yeah, I guess I don't mind working from home that much, but I do sometimes lack motivation in the morning, as in getting up to actually do something if I'm just staying at home. I find it hard to find motivation sometimes.
So my experience as a student during the lockdown was not like the typical one, I would say. I already started my end of study internship. So I was working at the time and I was just starting to get settled when they suddenly announced that we all would have to stay at home and Paris became one of the hotspots for the pandemic. So I decided I would actually go back home to Germany. But obviously, when you're already in your mid-20s, going back home to your parents is a situation you need to get used to, and it was very challenging. Overall, what I would say, even now that we're in the second lockdown in Paris, obviously in a big city like Paris, you quickly get very lonely, and it can be quite tough to really build meaningful connections and get to know new people, especially when you're a foreigner living in Paris and you're maybe not that fluent in French and having trouble to integrate. During that period, it was actually helpful to have something like a lockdown because it forced you to actually meet with fewer people on fewer occasions, but would have more meaningful conversations and a better quality of interaction. So I'm hoping that things will get better and the vaccine will be approved soon so that, it's easiest to stay mentally sane.
Thanks to all our volunteers for this overview of what it's like to be a student in Paris during lockdown. We're now going to give the floor to Nora, who's a student from Hungary studying in Paris. She's also a YouTuber, and she's going to tell us about her experience of lockdown.
Hi everyone, I'm Marian and I'll be your host. So today I'm with Nora, who is a student and a YouTuber. Hi Nora.
Hi, nice to meet you guys.
Thanks for tuning in with us today for our second episode. So we have a few questions about your experience of lockdown. First of all, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you study, where you're from?
Yes, so my name is Nora. I'm 23 years old and I currently study information communication. I am in my second year. And yeah, I'm originally from Budapest, Hungary, but I moved to Paris last year for my university studies.
Mm-hmm, okay. And what are your current projects apart from university?
So I also work on my YouTube channel part-time alongside with my studies, and I try to make videos at least once a week to kind of show people what it's like to be a foreign student in Paris.
And so what is it like to be a foreign student in Paris?
It's a really nice experience. Honestly, I really enjoy it, and I'm really happy that I chose Paris as my city to do my studies in. So for me, it's been really nice so far. It's only my second year, but it's been really nice.
And how is your lockdown going?
So actually, the first time was kind of like the same like now. So I spent like the first couple of days in Paris for the lockdown, and I think you don't know, but I actually came home during the lockdown because I just thought that it would be much easier for me to study here than back in Paris.
Okay, so right now you are in Budapest?
Yeah. I just came home maybe like a week ago, I think.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're not on your own then?
So yeah, I actually live with my family here. That's actually one of the reasons why I came home, because I didn't really want to be completely on my own in Paris. As a foreign student, I don't have my family with me, so it would have been really like hard emotionally to just like be alone in a quarantine.
And was it hard to come home during lockdown? Like, did you have to prove that you didn't have COVID, or was it hard to get through customs?
It wasn't really hard, like the traveling aspect, but after I had to stay in quarantine here for 10 days, and I had to download an application where they were checking my GPS and where I am and what I'm doing. But finally now it's over. But yeah, it wasn't hard to get home. It's just the first couple of days were a bit weird.
So you felt like you needed to come home. Is it because back in Paris, you think you would have felt alone, or what's your living situation back in Paris?
So in Paris, I live with my flatmate, who is also, she is half French, half Hungarian, but we both decided to actually leave. I think like even if I stayed there alone, I would have been fine, but I think I would have felt really alone, because usually like the reason why I really like to live in Paris is because I have so many friends and it's so nice to go to the city and explore together. But without that part of Paris, I think it would have been really hard.
And do you know a lot of other foreign students who went back home?
No, I think actually one of my best friends in Paris, she's from Korea. She's also a foreign student, and she actually couldn't come back. She couldn't go back to Korea because they closed the borders, like the international borders. So for her, for example, I think it's so much harder because she lives alone. She doesn't have her family. She's like so far away from home. So for example, like international students, not European ones, couldn't really go home now, I think.
And did you expect this second lockdown? Like, did you prepare for it?
I mean, I think everybody kind of expected it by the end of October, when we saw that like so many new cases were popping up in France. So I think everybody kind of expected it, but I really hope that it didn't happen. But unfortunately, it did.
How do you cope with like being away from your friends back in Paris? Like, how do you cope with that? Do you stay in touch with them?
Yes, of course, I stay in touch with them. I mean, I think especially the friends I have at university, it's really hard being away from them because we do the same thing, we follow the same classes, but still we're so away from each other. So it's really weird because last year we were in class and enjoying everything together, and now it's a weird experience for sure.
So studying remotely, especially remotely from another country, like how is that? How do you manage that?
I mean, it's difficult a little bit. I think for me, it's still better than, for example, for the students who live in a different time zone. Like, for example, I have one girl in my class and she's from Russia, and there's like a 6-hour difference, like time difference. And for her, it's so much harder to follow the online classes. So for me, it's okay. Like we have the same time zone. It's okay. But I think sometimes it's hard to find motivation to study because it's hard to take university seriously because of the conditions, because we don't even really see the teachers in person. So it's really weird to imagine that we are actually students and it's not just some virtual world. Yeah, it's an interesting experience for sure.
How is your motivation these days?
I mean, I'm trying my best. For me, I think it's more like I'm stressed if I procrastinate. So the only reason why I'm doing all my assignments is because I'm stressed that I won't have enough time. But sometimes it's really hard because it's not like we have to go out and go to class. So there is no like movement. So we really have to stay strong mentally to study, I think.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, about movement. So do you exercise or what do you do during your free time during this lockdown?
I try to work out at home, and also we can still go for like walks here and also for runs. Sometimes I go to run. I do like hula hooping. So yeah, I try to work out for sure. I think that helps a lot with studying and just like staying healthy mentally.
And otherwise, do you spend a lot of time on Zoom, like to socialize with your friends or other family members who are away?
I usually just call or FaceTime. I usually use like Zoom and like Google Meet for studying. So I try to not to spend too much time on my laptop if I don't have to, because it's already too much, I think.
And is it a time where you're more creative?
I think I'm creative when first I did something that makes me really happy. Like I like to do things in the morning that makes me really happy. And after, everything is just so much easier to do. So for example, I try to meditate every morning. And then after, I feel so much more relaxed and I feel like I have more ideas.
Do you have any tips about that, like any apps or exercises that people could follow?
I don't follow an app. I just listen to the air conditioner on in Apple Music for like 20 minutes. And then I just try to focus on my breath at the same time. So you really have to pay attention to like focus on your breath and also to the air conditioner, and it just completely quiets my mind. Like I cannot think of anything else. Like you get so detached and it's a really nice feeling. I can only recommend meditation, really.
Okay. And how do you feel these days?
I think I'm okay. I'm just a bit stressed because we're in the middle of finals. Like kind of like the first half of the midterm exams. So I'm a bit stressed, but I think other than that, I'm okay. But I think it has to do with the fact that I am back home, maybe as well. So it's a lot easier this way to survive the midterm exams.
Are you stressed about COVID in general? Is it stressful to you?
I think it's not really stressful anymore because I think everybody kind of got used to it by now. I'm just kind of like tired of it. Like I just want it to be over, like completely. So it's more just like when is it even gonna be over feeling, I think.
Yeah, everyone is just tired of it by now. On a more like positive note, then what are you grateful for these days?
I think my hobbies really make me happy. Like for example, watching animes and Korean dramas. That's a big part of my life. Like those things just makes me so happy. And also my dog and my family and my friends. So I think even if times are stressful, there are always some things that we can appreciate and that we can feel grateful for.
Mm-hmm. And if you ever feel low, do you think it helps you to talk to other people about it?
I think it helps, but I'm very selective to who I tell my problems to. Like I really only tell my problems to my mom or my sister because I don't like to complain. And I think like sometimes you're just kind of in like this negative spiral and you just want to complain to everybody. So I think for me, it's just better sometimes to kind of like consider like who I want to talk to about my problems. I think sometimes it's really nice to talk to someone who doesn't know anything about you, because sometimes people, can be biased about their advices if they know your situation.
Do you have any other tips to stay zen during lockdown?
I think just like keep doing the things that make you really happy, like especially for students when we have a lot of exams. Sometimes we don't have enough time to do our hobbies, but that's so important when you're stressed to keep yourself happy with watching your favorite TV series or cooking for yourself. And exams are really not everything. I mean, I know like it's really stressful in the moment, but your own happiness and your mental health should always come first. So I think just tend to your own happiness and don't be too hard on yourself, because not every single day is like super productive, and sometimes you just need to chill a little bit. So yeah, just be nice to yourself and do the things that make you happy.
What's your favorite song to listen to at the moment?
These days I listen to a lot of like anime soundtracks and also movie soundtracks. And I also listen to a lot of Taylor Swift lately.
What are the animes you say you're watching? Can you give us an example?
Oh yes, I just finished watching an anime called From a New World, and it's kind of like an alternative universe kind of thing, but it's really nice because it has nothing to do with real life, so you can really just escape all your problems.
And what are your hopes for the future?
I think I just hope that this all will soon end. I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's what everybody wants at the moment the most, for life to go back to normal and for us to like have freedom again. And yeah, I think I just want things to go back to normal whenever that's gonna happen.
Do you miss studying in Paris?
Yes, because it's really weird to go to university and not being able to be in Paris for me. Because for me it's like being in Paris and exploring is such a huge part of being a student there, so it's weird when I don't have that part. So I'm really excited to go back, so let's hope that the lockdown will end soon.
Yeah, we hope so too. And is there any message you'd like to share with other students, especially like foreign students in Paris, for example?
I think just to know that nothing lasts forever and that this will end as well. And just stay connected to your friends and family away. Just stay connected to people and try to call at least like one person a day, I think, especially if you live alone as a foreign student. I think that matters a lot.
Maybe you could tell us the name of your YouTube channel so people can check it out if you want to.
Oh, okay. So it's called Nora A, which is my name. And I basically post a lot of different things. Recently, I've been posting a lot of weekly vlogs when I was still in Paris, where I was exploring new cafes and museums and just kind of like showing what I do in my like free time as a student in Paris. So yeah, if you're interested in those kind of things.
Thank you, Nora, for being with us today and sharing your experience of lockdown. And we really hope you'll be able to come back to Paris soon and start university in real life again and see your friends. And we wish you a lot of success with your YouTube channel and also with your studies, of course.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode of Vite en Sac, in which we'll listen to some volunteers from Lille. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on our latest content. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Nightline France. Take care and feel free to call Nightline if you need to talk. We're here for you.